With corporate yoga studio chains propping up all over the place, more small yoga studios closing than there are opening, and a constant changing business environment, is there a future for the Ma and Pop yoga studio? That's what we're going to cover in this episode of Ask NBC. I'm Josh from the Nomad Yoga family. Hit me up with any of your questions or comments down below, and make sure that you share this video with all your friends. So, is there a future for the Ma and Pop yoga studio, the small shop? Yes, definitely small shops are still going to be playing an integral role in the new eras of yoga as it moves forward. Sadhguru from the Aisha Center is quoted as saying that the most important leadership that we're going to see in the next decade is going to be business leadership. But more importantly than if we're going to be relevant, it's how are we going to be relevant that we really need to be asking ourselves as small yoga studio owners. And that is a huge issue because I think that no one in our industry is even planning for the future at all. One of the ways that you can look at this is by going back and looking at your vision statement. But I want you to look at it in a new way. Instead of thinking about my vision being what I'm trying to create, reword it from kind of the negative angle and think, in 10 years from now, why will my business matter? So what do we do to stay relevant though moving forward? I think that we should look at other industries that are out there. Let's face it, the consumer of today is highly educated and wants instant gratification, but they're also looking for a personalized sales process and not having to have any inconvenience around even the way that they make payments. Everything about how we operate as a business has to start to fit into this criteria to keep our customer happiness factor high enough that they keep coming back to actually utilize our epic product, which is our yoga class. What are some examples? Maybe you've heard by now that Amazon, the online retailer, which by the way is the largest retailer on the entire planet, just bought Whole Foods Grocer. What the heck? What you may not have heard is that Target bought an online mattress company for $60 million. And that the New York Times just invested in an online tech review site. I think it's called like Wirecutter. And we're seeing businesses from the online realm investing in things that are a lot more brick and mortar. And then we're seeing a lot of these sort of brick and mortar older businesses starting to invest in the online realm. And why that's happening is that they're trying to blend these things together. It's a good sign in my mind because we're yogis. Yoga means union. We are good at blending and we're very flexible and very good at molding ourselves, and yoga is very good at molding itself into what is currently necessary. But we just have to make sure that we're looking at it this way. How long do you think it'll be before we'll go online and just select what we want to eat, then we'll go to a Whole Foods Go store and pick up our groceries without even having to have a cash register or any lineup to wait in? Or how long will it be before you'll just say, yo, Alexa, order me this, this, and this from Whole Foods, and then it shows up at your door delivered by a drone? So how as yoga studios do we keep developing ourselves anew? Our product will always be relevant, but how we actually deliver the product and how our business runs, this is where the changes are going to come from. Is it possible that a yoga studio could simultaneously offer a class in their studio as well as online? Is it possible that your students can have an on-demand yoga class that's from your teachers that they specifically like? Is it possible that we make payments a lot easier by having them retroactively charge people based on the classes they actually consume instead of just prepaying for things ahead of time and having to go through that whole sales process? Not yet, but I think it's coming. We have to continually be willing to remold ourselves into where the future is. But I think that of all of the small brick and mortar businesses that exist in North America, especially, the yoga industry is the one that's the most poised to actually be able to make this transition. You just have to make sure that you're ready to make that transition. You cannot become something new by remaining what you are. So being willing to change is the first key fundamental. The next fundamental that I'll point out, you've got to be constantly educating yourself. If you're a yoga studio like many out there that is not even up on the current industry best practices, like proper KPI reporting, making sure your pricing structure makes sense, having a sales team in place, being able to contact your clients and actually track everything, even just understanding how your mind-body account works to its fullest potential, you should probably get on these things, because the further along we go in time that you're not covering this stuff, the more behind the game that you actually are. The best part about all of this is that it's exciting. You can choose to look at this from a fearful way that things are changing and you're not going to be relevant anymore and you don't know what to do, or you can look at it in terms of that there's a new, fresh, creative energy that's happening very quickly right now, and that you can capitalize on that and help it proliferate your message and your product even further. As individual yoga studio owners and as a whole in the yoga community, we have to be willing to do exactly what we preach, and that is to help ourselves grow vertically instead of growing horizontally. This has been another episode of Ask NBC. You post your questions and I answer them to the best of my ability. Make sure you hit that like button, leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time around. Peace.